you. Thank you. No. Sir, sit down. Sit down, sir. No. My goodness, Ken and I will work for that. But we haven't earned it yet. Don't give Marines anything free. Make us work. What an honor to be here. And we the people, look at you all. Look around this room. You all, and Michelle and I were talking about this earlier, you all are more than just a county movement. You're a state movement and a national movement. And what you all stand for, just in regards to upholding and getting back to the fundamentals of our Constitution. Not only is it honorable, but it's the right direction and way you ought to go. And I'm hoping that your kids and your kids' kids, your great-grands and your grands are following that same tradition. I know mine is, and my daughters. Yes, it is true, since I've seen you before, I do have a little grandson. Yes. And I appreciate you saying that I look too young to be a grandfather. I agree with you. We'll keep that joke between you and I agree with you, but he is the absolute joy of my life. I love going home again. I say again, I have 4 daughters. It used to be great going home until they became teenagers, and now that the oldest one is 20 and in college, you know, it's just tough to get the same kind of love you used to get when they were little. But now with him, I come in the house and I hear Daddy, and then the running for the leg. It's just awesome. I'm really enjoying life. But I look in his eyes and he reminds me why I'm doing this. Every time I read something else negative, every time I hear something else that's not even the truth, and I ask myself, and I do this often, why in the world am I doing this? I'm a very successful, my family would say that I'm a very successful businessman. I'm a Marine officer. My family doesn't want or lack for anything, at least when I was doing business and not running for office. But yet now I stand from county to county, from city to city across this great state of Maryland of ours, trying to do all I can to do good, trying to do all I can to change the direction of our state for the better, and yet so much negativity. But I'm reminded when I come home to him, this is why you do it. This is the charge you have. And this is a worthy fight for us to take. If you consider what our founding fathers went through, this is nothing in comparison. They pledged their lives. They pledged their sacred honor. The 56 signers of our Declaration of Independence knew what they were getting themselves into when they put their name on that document. And they knew what it cost them. But they signed it anyway, knowing what was coming. And here we are, born, in my opinion, in the greatest country on God's green earth. And there's no other place where I would want to raise my daughters, or have raised, or my grandson, than right here in the United States of America. Now, being a Marine officer, I've had the opportunity to travel around quite a bit. I've been in various countries, Islamic countries, Christian countries, even other types of countries with no religion and no faith. And I'm telling you that this country, undoubtedly, for me and for my family, is the only answer, and I believe it's God's answer to the world as we bring forward the banner of freedom, not arrogantly, but in a way that pleases him and his son, my Savior, Jesus Christ. Now, with that said, not a patriotic speech, but why is Ken and I running for governor? And why are we going around the state with this Maryland Economic Recovery Tour at this time? Because we believe it's critical. Let me outline just a few things for you and get to the point. We have one of the worst economies in the country. 47th worst tax environment in the country. We've lost 4,000 small businesses over the past 7 years, taking with them $5.5 billion in revenue. Our economy continues to suffer and struggle, so much so that we've had fellow governors from other states come into our state to try and convince our venture capitalists, our manufacturing companies, our small businesses to leave Maryland and come to their state. We even have a state as poorly positioned as New York State using their money, buying airwaves on our TV stations to induce our Maryland businesses to come to New York. They're not running those ads in Texas. They don't run those ads in Florida, but they're running them here in Maryland. When New York is competing for your businesses, then you know there's a problem.
Absolutely.
I stood on a forum right across from Peter Franchot as he spoke to the crowd first and made this statement in Annapolis. If Maryland is first in so many things, then why are so many people and businesses leaving our state at the rapid rate? He said our middle class has shrunk faster than any time in history since he's been the comptroller, and he's a Democrat. See, there are certain issues that cross party lines and party affiliations. There's certain problems we're having where it doesn't matter whether you're independent, libertarian, Democrat, or Republican. We have problems in our state, and it starts economically. Ken and I will pass a real taxpayers' bill of rights in this state. We will tie the growth of your government directly with CPI and cost of living to ensure that your government does not outpace CPI or cost of living anymore legislatively. Now that's a big deal, because what that means is that you will no longer wake up in a state like we have currently, where you have a budget that's grown by $2.3 billion over 1 year, which is almost an 8% increase, although your personal paychecks and your wallets have only grown by 1.25%. I think it's illegal to take more money from people than what they're even making just so you could sustain your way of life in state government using your money to do it. What's criminal is the fact that they did not even stop themselves from getting a raise this year to $56,000 a year. We have real problems in our state. We'll pass a taxpayers' bill of rights, so legally it can't be done anymore, and we're going to eliminate, I said the word, eliminate your personal income tax.
Whoa. There you go.
If y'all aren't excited about that, you're in the wrong place. This is not, this is we the people, guys. There was a time when taxes were unconstitutional.
Yeah, still are.
Prior to 1914, the Constitution made no place for taxes. But you all know that. You're smart men and women as we are. We're going to eliminate your personal income tax over a 5-year phase-out period. When we came up with the idea and we put the plan on paper, we wanted to make sure it was justified and endorsed by the right people. We made a phone call to Dr. Arthur Laffer down in Tennessee. He was Ronald Reagan's economist. Brought him up here to Maryland. He endorsed our plan and endorsed our run for governor here in the state of Maryland.
Right.
Isn't that exciting? And here's some good news for you. Michelle, you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually go to Lollar, 4governor.com. That's Lollar, Lollar, 4governor.com. And you can hear Dr. Laffer in his own words as he states Charles Lollar and his team are the best hope for Maryland.
Yeah.
His economic plan will turn Maryland around. So we're serious about this. We're going to get this done, and we're doing this for you. Transparency and honesty in government. That's going to be key for us. You've been pushed with 74 new taxes and regulations over the past 7 years. Ken and I are going to work to get rid of those. Yeah. One of the reasons why, starting with the rain tax, one of the reasons why I chose Ken, and I was so grateful for him coming on board, is as an investigative journalist, as a nominee for the Nobel Peace Prize, all the work that he's done, his work ethic, he's going to be the perfect counterpart, the perfect partner for me as we go after every one of these tax bills to find out where the money is actually going. The bait and switch tactics of Annapolis are going for good once this man and I get elected to be your governor, lieutenant governor in the state. We're going to find out where the money's going for every tax bill passed prior to us being elected. And if we find out the money is not going where it's supposed to be, we're going to make sure over a 3-year phase-out program we get rid of the tax law altogether, and we're going to post it on the web along with the author of the bills so Maryland can know who wrote them in the first place. And folks, we don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent. If you wrote a bad bill, your constituents need to know.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
This team is going to get it done, and every time I get a chance, I want to make sure that people across this state and across this country know that Ken Timmerman got that done. These are things we're going to do in partnership. When it comes to education, we believe that every parent and every child ought to have choice where they go to school. And we believe, oh wait, you got to hold your applause for the best part. Here's the best part. We believe their tax dollars should follow where their choice goes. Now you can clap. We do it when it comes to charter schools. Why can't we do it when it comes to private schools if that's where you want to send your child to school? And one of the reasons why charter schools and private schools are so successful is they can look parents in the face and say, if you want your child to come to this school, you have to agree to come to PTA meetings. You have to agree to play a role in your child's education. Those days of bringing your child to school, putting them on the bus, clapping your hands, and I don't have to worry about my child anymore for 8 hours, those days are done. Because you know as well as I do, the key to a successful education system or a successful education program is families have to play a role along with the teacher for the growth and prosperity of that child. You can't just throw a child in a classroom and say the teacher has it and run off and do whatever you want to do until school day's over. We want to encourage parents to play more of an active role in the education of their children. That's how you get things turned around.
Does that mean you get rid of Common Core?
She said, does that mean we'll get rid of Common Core, Ken?
Yes.
Exactly. See how quick that is? That works. Because we honestly believe that if you want a strong education system, if you want a smarter child, you can't legislate that from Pennsylvania Avenue, and you can't do it from Annapolis.
Right.
It's a local issue. And parents, teachers, and students all have to play a role in getting those things done. Ken and I simply want to bring common sense back to Annapolis. Something that's been missing for a very long time. We have the pedigree to do it. I've been in business myself for 17 years. I'm an executive with Centos Corporation for 10. I'm a Marine officer for 16, going into my 17th year. I've been an elected official for 4 years down in Carrol County as a Central Committee chair, but I'm not a full-time politician. And whenever people say stuff like, well, you know, he doesn't have a lot of political experience, I look right back at him and say, thank you so much for the compliment. Full-time politicians is what got us into this mess to begin with. So it's not going to change it. We need people that think outside the box. We need a team that's bold. We need a team with leadership experience. I alone have 33 years combined leadership experience, to include leading some of the most stubborn men and women in the world, United States Marines. We can get this done, family, but it's going to take your help for us to get there. And as we go across the state, and I'm going to bring Ken up momentarily, but as we go across this state, talking about this economic recovery tour, we are sincere. Yeah, we get the arrows. Yeah, they get thrown us out all the time. We had one last person tell us, and you'll love this part. One last guy who's running for governor as well says, you know, the office of the governor, or like the office of any executive, president or governor, the office of the governor is not, in his words, an entry-level position. I thought that was interesting. The next thing I said was, well, I sure am glad no one told George Washington that. Then I said, I sure am glad no one told Abraham Lincoln that. And then I said, I sure am glad no one told Ronald Reagan that.
That's right.
Some of the greatest presidents in our country, some of the greatest governors in our country did not come with full-time politician status. Whenever I hear somebody talk about all their experience over 24, 30, 40 years in political experience, one of the first things I say is, you couldn't get a job? That's the first thing that comes off my head. Because I am concerned about the apathy and the lack of understanding what our founding fathers meant when they said we the people, when they were pledging their sacred honor. They believed in limited government, not more. And they believed that the best public servant would be the one with a job. The one that understands that every law you pass, it has direct consequences. Do you know how easy it is to say to a group of Maryland citizens, don't worry about a 24-cent gas tax. That's nothing compared to what it could be. It's not a big deal. You know how easy it is to say that when you don't even pay for your own gas?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of it.
Me too.
When Ken and I went through the budget, he even brought up to my attention, I think it was last week, he said, Charles, do you realize they have over $7.2 billion in our budget set aside just for cronyism, projects with contracting friends of the governor? I said, you got to be kidding me. We can do better, and we must do better. But may I say this? I can't get this done without your help. I am not interested in a campaign election for high school president. I'm not interested in a popularity contest. I'm not interested. If that's your interest, I'm not your guy. Don't vote for me. And Ken has no problem me saying that. But if you really want bold, new solutions, new answers, if you want a new way forward, then I'm your guy and I need your help. And I'm counting on we the people to get us there. We need your time. We need your prayers. We need your financial donations. Maybe not, and certainly in that order, starting with prayers. But these are things that we believe and we know can get this done. Here's our recipe to win. And then I want Ken to give a few words before you ask questions. We need Carroll County. You all have the third, if not fourth, I think it's third largest voting Republican base in the state. We need to win here. If we win here, it'll be because of what you do. We'll win Frederick County. The last two straw polls in Montgomery County, we won them both. Both. We won the straw poll down in Southern Maryland. You should expect me to win Southern Maryland. If I don't, then send me back home. We'll win Eastern Shore and Western Maryland. We can get this done. When people tell you that Charles Lollar guy, he can't win, they don't raise any money over there. You tell them it's not true. They can win, and we are raising money. But money for Republicans does not equate to a primary win. Just look at how successful We the People is. It's not about money for the primary, although we need to win it. But it will take money to win a general election, because we can have all the best ideas in the world, but we got to get them out across the state. Now let me say this, because I know somebody's going to ask this question. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the conclusion before the end. How are you going to win in Prince George's, Montgomery County, and Baltimore City? Was anybody going to ask that question? Anybody? Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you were going to. Let me answer it. We knew what an uphill battle it was going to be before we even made a decision to run for governor. So when we made the decision, we spent the first 6 months in those three areas: Prince George's County, Baltimore City, and Montgomery County. Ken and I stand before you as a Republican's ticket for governor, lieutenant governor, and we're the only team on the Republican side that currently has Democrats for Lollar organizations already set up in Baltimore City, Montgomery County, and Prince George's County. So when they ask you, why haven't they raised as much money, you need to tell them, because they've been going before Democrats to get them on the same page with us, so that when you give your $4,000 check to Ken tonight, you know you're not throwing good money after bad. You're believing and you're investing in a campaign that can not just win a primary, we will win a general election. If you would, please put your hands together for the next Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, Ken Timmerman.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you.
It may not be $4,000.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so here's the first check from tonight. Those of you who have your checkbooks, you can follow the lead of Michelle. That would be great. Thank you very much, Michelle. We appreciate your help. It's really an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be here in front of so many familiar faces and to find new faces as well. I think all of you understand from what you've just heard why I did not hesitate a minute when Charles Lollar asked me to set aside other things that I've been planning to do, thinking of doing, and to join him on this ticket to be his lieutenant governor. We will win we will take office in January of 2012, and the first budget that we give to the legislature will include a very significant tax cut. It will be the first year of our plan to phase out the personal income tax over 5 years. All lower income wage earners will have their taxes eliminated completely. All families earning up to $150,000, we're going to drop their rate from the current 4.75% marginal rate down to 3%. That's going to be real money in your pocket. We happen to have a revolutionary idea, and I think we the people understand this. We happen to think that you know better what to do with your money than government does. So we want you to keep more of it in your pocket. We understand that if we don't turn Maryland around, if we don't get the fiscal house in order in this state very quickly, more of you are going to leave. I know every single person in this room, I'm willing to wager, there's not a single one of you that doesn't have a friend who you called recently and said, oh, sorry, I'm no longer in Maryland, I went to Virginia. Or I went to, you know, I'm retiring to South Carolina, no death taxes. Or I'm going down to Florida, right? That's right, no income tax and no death tax. Maryland is driving people out of the state. O'Malley and Brown, I call him Anthony O'Malley, they believe in harming Maryland first, and we've seen this for the past 7 years. They have increased the takings. I don't even call it spending any longer. They have increased the takings from the people in 7 years by 34%. Now let me ask you, is there anybody here whose salary, whose wages, whose income has increased by 34% in the past 7 years? If you are out there, we'll take the $4,000 check. It'll be a big help. But mine certainly hasn't. Charles, I know, hasn't, because he's now devoted himself to you and to we the people. It's a tough row to hoe. I know what he's up against. I took a full year off when I ran for Congress, and I appreciate the support of many people here in this room when I went up against Chris Van Hollen in 2012. And I thank you for the 63% that you gave me in Carroll County. That was a real strong boost. 61% in Frederick County. And then, of course, Montgomery County, the voting machines didn't work so well. Or I should say they worked really well. They worked overtime. We did a survey after the election that found that we actually took the votes from a specific machine, went out and called everybody on it, and we found more people who told us they'd voted for me than the votes were recorded on the machines. But it wasn't enough to really take it to the Board of Elections. They dismissed it. We are going to turn this state around. You're going to wake up in the year 2019 after a Lollar Timmerman administration. You're going to look at your paycheck, and there's not going to be any deduction for state income tax from Maryland. And we want you to get the word out. We want you to get the word out to your friends, to your family, to small business owners you know. Come on back to Maryland. And by the way, would you get the word out before June? Please vote in the primary. Because if we do not make it through the primary, all of this is moot, and you're going to be facing 8 more years of what we've got. All right? This is our time. This is our chance. This is our state. There is no reason we should let them take it away from us, folks. It belongs to us. We need your help. We need your prayers. And as Charles said, we do need your financial support. Without that, things become a lot more difficult. So God bless you all. I got here late this morning because I actually had to still work. I still teach a class down at Quantico on Iranian terrorism. So I'm going down there tomorrow afternoon. So I had to prepare for my class Thursday afternoon. But we need your support. We count on Carroll County. We know you can do it. God bless you. Thank you.
Three. Can I take questions? They can take some questions.
Yes, sir.
You touched on a very, very important issue, and that is the integrity of the vote.
Yes.
And it appears that we are unable to motivate metaphysically challenged, that is, dead Republicans, to the extent that the Democrats have been able to get a very consistent vote of dead Democrats. And then, of course, you have, regions where we see like 110% of the vote. Now, I'm really concerned about these touch screens and just what he touched on. I don't know what we can do, but I do think that something needs to be done, and there really isn't any decent way to recount it.
You want to answer that?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. It's very important. Here's one of the things we will do. I hope we'll get it done in our first budget, and if not in the second budget, but I'd like to put it in the first budget. We are going to actually fund the bill that was passed by the General Assembly to replace the touch screen voting machines with a system that is auditable, with a paper trail. We will do that right away, okay? And we will also make sure that the voter rolls get cleaned. That's something that's got to be done. How many of you have been to Baltimore City recently, driven through Baltimore City? Well, you know, Here's a tragic example of what happens with one-party government. This is a city that's been run by Democrats for 40 years, and it's not block after block, it is mile after mile of shuttered houses. And I guarantee you that they all vote Democrat, and there are probably 10 of them in each house that vote Democrat. We're going to put an end to that.
Right. Now, let me also speak to something very pointed to your point, not just because the concern is getting us there. We want to make sure that that fraud, when it exposes itself, we're still able to win this thing in the general election this time in 14 in about 7 short months. Here's how, or 9 short months. Here's how we're going to do that. We ran the numbers, the 2010 numbers. Before we just dove into Prince George's, Baltimore City, and Montgomery County, we knew that the mission would be twofold. Number one, the numbers, we need 35% of the vote in Montgomery, Prince George's, and Baltimore City to win. That's first. As well as the same amount of Republican turnout that we had in 2010. If we do that, when we do that, that gives us we win by 7 points, and we accounted for a 4 percentage point corruption, so we win by 3 points. But 35 gives us that 7% or 3% cushion over the 4% corruption. Number two, also by going into those areas, we're getting to know the people in those areas. In order for the corruption schemes to work, they have to have an audience that's willing to do it. We're taking that sting away by showing ourselves to be actual human beings and not crazy racist Republicans that they think that I was before they met me. No, I'm serious. I was called a racist. You laugh. I kid you not. Yes. I was like, how could I be a racist? I married a black woman, right? Anyway, you'll pick that up later. Anyway, by using that personal touch, and getting in the community. If you go on our website, lollar4governor.com, you'll actually see a speech that I gave to the NAACP in Prince George's County at a 5,000 member church, received a standing ovation. We're taking the sting away from corrupt Democrats that want to use people to further corrupt the system. It has to be that kind of combined arms effect, military term, in order for us to overcome the corruption in this season. And then when we get in there, we transfer our efforts to make sure these types of things cannot happen again, and we get ourselves a Secretary of State. I'm talking about one of those old-fashioned ones that actually work for a living, not the cute ones that go around and smile, that want their picture there. I want one of those old-fashioned hard workers to scrub every roll. Within 4 years, they better have that system free of corruption altogether, so that when people go back to vote 4 years from now, everything's cleaned up the way it should be. That's what the Secretary of State should do, and we're going to put them on the front lines to get that done, and we're going to cheer them on and make sure we post every victory. We're going to post it in the papers, whether they want to write about it or not. No, by the way, if the Baltimore Sun doesn't want to cover it, we'll find us a paper who will. You can do that when you're the governor, lieutenant governor of this state. We'll get there.
Don't let them accuse you of being a skinhead.
You know what?
That's where it came from.
That was good because I have no hair. That was good. And by the way, the only reason I have 4 girls. I have a right to be bald. Who else has a question?
Any other questions? Yeah, they know we have a bunch of...
Yes, sir.
Do you feel that Obamacare should be repaired or repealed?
No, it can't be repaired. I don't know where you stand on that, but we've got to repeal it. There's a process and a step for us to get there. And I'm fine with this being recorded, whether people agree with me or not. It simply will not work. Not just in our state, it won't work in our country. It's not going to be successful. You're not going to take a free people and make them spend their money, whether they want to spend it or not. You're not going to take choice away from a people that fought constitutionally in a revolutionary war and beyond to maintain the freedoms we currently have. So what we want to do is we want to offer every law-abiding citizen in our state the option of health care. We want it to be affordable, but through a private healthcare exchange system to give people choice. And we can do it We ran this idea. Again, we're not the sharpest tool in the shed. We ran our idea. He may be. He's an author. I'm a Marine. We ran our idea by Dr. Hobbit down at the Heritage Foundation. He's working on this private healthcare exchange system with 9 other states. He's helping Maryland and me with ours. We also ran it by Dr. Benjamin Carson, who not only supported our plan, but is supporting us for governor here in the state of Maryland. You get the last question, ma'am.
Real quick.
Yes, no, you get the last one. Congratulations.
How can we get lawn signs?
Oh, great. She said, how do we get yard signs?
Oh, yard signs.
We will start,
And sign waving.
and sign waving. We will start pushing our yard signs by the by the first week in April, and 2 short weeks, a week and a half. And then once we get them ordered, we're going to start pushing them out by the end of April so they can start going up. We wanted to make sure the ground was soft enough as we gave way to spring.
That's right.
Didn't want to spend anything prematurely because every penny matters. And we hope you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you see just how well our fundraising has started picking up. But it's been picking up because of people like you all. They're saying, you know what, Charles, Ken, I'll give you $25. I'll give you $50. Whatever it takes for you all to be successful, we'll work hard right along with you. In my close, I've got some folks out here that are supporting us. Donna and Vicky, y'all wave your hands. Donna's got the cute little Charles shirt on. And Vicky's back there with her. They're going to be here for the remainder of the time. So if you want to sign up with them, if you want to give them $5 or $4,000, please, they will more than be willing to take your checks from you, but also your volunteer. And you may want to have a meet and greet at your home, because we will come to your home. Whatever you want to do to help us get there, we need to win Carroll County. I am going to look at Michelle Jefferson and every single person here and say, listen, if we win Carroll County, it's going to be because of you. So I want to thank you right now for what you're going to do to make sure that Charles and Ken secure this county so we can take back our state, one person, one vote, one county at a time. God bless you all, and thank you so much for having us.